Hi, and I'm your host for today. Welcome to the Let's Talk Show, British Muslim TV. We're live here in the studio here in Wakefield. We're also live on Twitter as well as Facebook. So please do join in with our topic of conversation today. Like always, if you have any questions, please do ring in on 01924 231 083. Or alternatively, you can WhatsApp on 075 85 835 150. So you must excuse me for today because I do actually have a croaky voice because I'm actually recovering from a cold. So do apologise, but I've got my water here, so I'll be taking that throughout the show to clear my throat. So today the topic of discussion is how to get paid to be who you are. We have an amazing guest speaker all the way from Germany. She actually is the head of communications for Adidas. She's a marketing and brand strategist. She's a keynote speaker. Also, she's the founder of the podcast Share Diversity. And would we believe it, that she has a platform reaching out to over 30,000 individuals globally. So without any further hesitation, I'm so delighted to introduce our guest today, Sina Port.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for having me.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much for taking the time out, Sina, because I know you're very, very busy. So do appreciate it. Welcome to the Let's Talk Show. And we've got an amazing topic today that you can share with me as well as the viewers, which is how to get paid to be who you are. So I do apologize. Like I said, I do sound croaky today, but I'll be having my sips of water. So, Sina, I did try to cover as much as I can, but if you want to tell me a bit more about yourself, as well as the audience.
Yeah, sure. Samina, thank you so much for having me, and happy, Monday to anyone who is joining. So my name is Sina Port. I'm originally from Germany. I'm a brand communication strategist, and what I focus on is I bridge the gap between culture and creativity. That means I help as a brand strategist, global brands to use the power of diversity to help their brands live and have a better impact with purpose. And I also help diverse founders to build their personal brands for industry recognition. I've been working in branding for about a decade before I started to really work on diverse branding, purposeful branding, and really helping people to build and shape a brand around who they are and around their values, and not around who they think they should be in the public. And that could help you in your business as a business owner. It helps you as an employee in a company, but it also just helps you as a person who's in the public spotlight, meeting people, because you don't have to change who you are in order to connect to people and have a positive impact.
Okay, brilliant. And I wanted to ask you, how long have you actually been working for Adidas then? Because you have a very eminent, influential role, which is head of communications.
So I've been head of communication of United Voices within Adidas. And what I focus on is really help the brands to build purposeful products. And I actually have been working with the company for almost 4 years now. So it's actually been the reason why I came back to Germany. I lived and worked abroad for most of my career. And it was really interesting that my path kind of led me back to my hometown where the headquarters are of Adidas. So I came back to Germany working for the brand for now almost 4 years.
Mashallah, mashallah. Was it something that at some point you dreamed of working for Adidas, or was it just by chance, the fact that you're saying that it was quite near to your house?
I think it's funny because you kind of over time realize that what you manifest as a child might have come true without you even planning, subhanAllah. So I've never really had the plan to work for a big corporation. I always wanted to have my own business. And specifically in Germany, there is this culture of working for a big corporation and kind of working yourself up the corporate ladder. And I really never wanted that. That's why I left very early abroad to work with startups, to own my own business. But in the last, I think, year, I kind of reflected, hosting a lot of keynotes and students, young girls also ask me, like, how did you come to Adidas? And I had to reflect and say, actually, I remember designing, because I'm a tennis player, I was designing a tennis outfit as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, and I always put the 3 stripes on it. So it was kind of interesting to remember that, because you don't remember, like, over time, or when you started a brand, you're like, yeah, I always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
For me, it was more like, oh, I remember now that was something that, my mom had to remind me of. Do you remember those drafts that you drew as a child? So I always wanted to work with a brand more as an athlete, because that was my ambition, to be a professional tennis player, and then design clothes for them. And subhanAllah, you never know where Allah leads your path. So
Subhanallah.
this is, where I ended up. And
it must have been, that initial design, which would have been the prerequisite for you to then eventually now working for Adidas. But mashallah, that's amazing. Amazing. So can you tell me a bit more about your podcast, which is Share Diversity as well, please?
Sure. So Share Diversity, what we do, it started as a podcast, now it merged into a consulting business, is we use the power of diversity to help brands change the world. And I started the podcast really during my master's. I was studying in London at SOAS University, and I basically just always was in the radio. I wasn't even part of the university radio, but I wanted to record a podcast. And I didn't have any equipment. I didn't have any laptop. I didn't have a microphone. I didn't know how to use microphones. So I just basically ran into the radio of the university and asked, could I use your equipment? And they said, sure, at this time, from this time to this time, there's no one there. So I basically, I think I spent 6 to 7 hours a week just teaching myself how to podcast in the studio. And in the beginning, it was more of a reflection, a way to express myself. At that time, I just newly converted to Islam, so I was managing a lot of what I do professionally, and I was kind of tackling and looking at it from a different perspective, from a perspective of a new Muslim with new values. And I kind of questioned a lot of things. And I was also not very comfortable showing my face on camera. So a podcast was the great option for me to do that. So it started more of a reflection platform for me to talk about marketing, what I've been doing, but more from a value point of view. And then I started to create an environment around me, because I was, as a new Muslim, you want to develop an environment that helps you grow into the person you are, you want to become. And for me, that was very difficult, being in one place and not knowing a lot of people. So a podcast was a great way to connect to people that maybe I wouldn't have been able to connect otherwise. So I, connected to women around the world. I just shoot them a message on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, and I invited them to come on the podcast to talk about their personal branding journey, about their ways into using marketing to reflect who they are. Actually, my first podcast guest ever was my professor at the time, a master professor, and then it just developed in really interviewing businesswomen around the world, women of color, women of faith, who navigate their industry, whether they are artists or, fitness trainers or financial consultants. And they would tell, they would share basically their journey of building a personal brand, building a career from their point of view. And it's so valuable, because you can't meet so many people in real life, but the podcast was kind of a way to... And
globally, you've met so many interesting women, and you're providing them advice around personal branding.
It's not just you learning, it's so many people learning.
Exactly. So, the question, how do you actually build up a personal brand? Because, the topic of conversation today is, how do you get paid to be who you are? So in that respect, how do you build a personal brand for viewers that are watching who would like to, build their personal brand and to be at the forefront of social media with respect to their product or respect to their service?
Yeah, that's really a good question. I would always ask you, do you think you have a personal brand? you personally as Samina?
Do I think I have a personal brand? Well, I think it's work in progress. I do think, yes, I do have a personal brand because I'm authentic. I'm realistic. I bring a wealth of experience. I bring my own unique personality. I'm just me. I, don't try to enact anybody. I'm just natural, and it's about empowerment and just being my authentic self, really. So I do think, this is me and this is my personal brand. I don't want to be manufactured into something else, whether it's my look or whether it's my personality. So yes, I bring my own unique self to the show as a host.
That's amazing. And I would say everyone has personal brands. Everyone is known for something. You as a person who is visible in a public forum like this, who has an audience that, tunes in regularly, someone who has visibility online, it's a bit easier to say, yes, you have a personal brand because we kind of know you from online. But everyone has a personal brand, whether you are on the internet or you're totally anonymous.
Excuse me.
Everyone already has a personal brand. And what it means, it's who you are and your reflection of who you are and who you want to be in the world. So the reason why I started personal branding was really because I was stuck in my career. I remember this moment where I was really, sending out so many applications. I think 200 to 300 applications in 1 year to companies trying to, promote myself. I have so many, experiences. These are my skills. This is what I studied. The things that you usually say to kind of impress people.
Yes.
But I never I got no answer back. So literally 5 answers, not even interview invitations, just answers.
And you had made 200 applications, did you say?
Exactly. And they were I really worked hard on them. They were not sloppy. But
Sina, I'm so sorry to intervene, but we're just going to have a very short break. So viewers, we're just going to have a short break and we're going to continue with this amazing topic of discussion, how to get paid to be who you are. So please do join us after the break.
At IPSA Legal Limited, we provide a wide variety of services specialising in immigration, asylum and British nationality law. We take out the stress of the situation whilst you get on with your life so that we can look after the legal issues. For a free 15-minute consultation, contact our experts on 0330 124 5700 or visit our website www.ibsa-legal.co.uk.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Questions on British Muslim TV with me, Mohammed Shafiq.
So critical, and it's so important for our younger generation to get involved in politics and run for office.
Is this vaccine, the various vaccines, halal?
No material which is forbidden in Islam is contained in this vaccine. So that's why it is absolutely halal.
When it's cold out, there is nothing I enjoy more than rustling up hearty winter meals. A quick trip to Sainsbury's helps me to prepare a warm bowl of dal and fresh chapatis with a cup of masala chai. This is all I need for a perfect winter night. Sainsbury's.
Through our immediate emergency response, we are providing cooked food and clean drinking water to these flood affected people to bring ease in their life and help them ensure their nutrition level and ensure that they are not hungry and to beat the hunger.
Assalamu alaikum and hello. Thank you for joining us once again. My name is Samina Chughtai. I'm your host for today for the Let's Talk show, and we have our amazing guest, Sina Port. And just before the break, she was talking to us, telling us about her experience when she was applying for particular positions. So Sina, if you can please continue.
Yes, I was just about to say, when I was really struggling in my career, I had a conversation with my mentor, and he asked me, how do you catch butterflies? And you know, these moments where someone that you admire says something and you're like, what does this mean? I think I'm going to learn something, but I'm just going to play along. And I said, I don't know how to catch butterflies. Isn't there this net thingy that you run around with and try to catch them? And my mentor said, no, the point is you don't catch butterflies. You build a garden and you let them come to you. And that's exactly the problem that I had when I tried to catch all those opportunities and run behind them, you know, and really tried to stalking HR recruiters on LinkedIn to get a job. I was really trying that method of catching butterflies. But butterflies, those opportunities you want in your career and life, they come to you when you build a garden, and that garden is your personal brand.
Yeah, amazing.
So your personal brand is really what attracts people to you.
Yeah.
You have to share who you are, what you believe in, what you like doing, and you share that joy and you share those ideas with the world, and then people will come to you to wanting to be mentored by you, to hire you, to want to work with you because they are attracted by who you are and what you stand for.
I love that. I love the way you've just explained that, described that, you know, catching the butterflies, forming your garden, making sure that it's ready, it's got the ideal kind of like temperature, it's the ideal platform, and then, you know, hopefully we'll catch butterflies. And in this respect, the audience. So that was your moment, the epiphany that you had, whereby you thought, right, this is how I'm going to, you know, create my brand. That's amazing. So, you know, in that respect, like you've said that you've got to actually form your garden, attract the butterflies. That's how you do it. You know, make sure that is the right, optimum level to be able to attract your clientele for you to then formulate your brand. So what are the key factors, therefore, that you require then to make your garden, to be able to attract the audience in this respect?
Yeah, so if you think about a garden, right, what does a garden have? It has roots, it has plants, it has branches, and it has, you know, they start blooming over time. And the garden doesn't grow in, you know, one day. It takes time. So when you think about your roots, those are your values, your vision, and your purpose. So what that really means is your values really refer to, let's say, your purpose. Why do you do what you do? Why are you in the industry that you're in? Why you're in the job that you're in? Why do you like talking about the things that you talk about? What is that purpose behind it? Do you want to influence something, change something in your industry, develop something, bring something forward, maybe leave a legacy? Then the other part of roots, so it's purpose and vision. Vision is where you're going. What do you want to leave behind? And that's just something that sounds a little overwhelming for people because the purpose and vision sometimes could be, you know, so deep that you overthink it. And it doesn't really have to be very big or very deep. It just has to be very personal to you. So understand why you're doing what you're doing, because if you don't know why you're doing it, it's very likely that you'll stop with time. Then you have the branches. The branches is what I call the platforms that you're on. So this could be online platforms, but also offline. So where do you want to be seen? A platform could be the corporate space. It could be really an online platform like LinkedIn, because you want to have a professional audience. It could be a creative platform like Instagram, or a TV-like platform like Facebook or YouTube. Those are the platforms, but it could also be the writer's platform if you want to become a published author. That's your platform you want to be on. Could be the workshop platform, whatever platform you're choosing. And then you have the plans, and the plans is the content that you create. Again, a lot of people think personal brand is just online, but it could also be offline if you're giving talks, if you're mentoring people in person, if you're a teacher. You know, I felt a lot of purpose when I was a tennis teacher, and I feel a lot of purpose now where I create content or I share my knowledge and ideas with people on a wider platform where I'm not coaching, you know, 10 to 25 kids, but 10 to 25,000 people at a time.
So I wanted to ask you, Sina, sorry, I wanted to ask you there, you know, like you're talking about purpose and vision. It's not just about money making, is it? You know, like people will probably think, Well, yes, obviously, that's obvious. Purpose is about making money. Purpose is about, becoming well known, selling a product. Can you just explain a bit more about the purpose and the vision?
So when it comes to purpose and vision, it's very, very personal. So for me, for instance, it changed over time. And everyone, it will change over time.
Okay.
My big focus is to develop tools for women to develop themselves. So, and my vision, which has developed with time, it wasn't that big in the first place, but my vision is to make a positive impact on 1 billion women. And it doesn't have to be that I have to have 1 million followers on my social media platforms, but it doesn't have to mean that I change lives or, really impact someone's life that they think, okay, my life has totally changed, but I just want to make a positive impact. It could be as small or as big as you can imagine. So I could do that. The way that I envision that, it could come to life through the tools that I share online, helping women to build a personal brand, to build a career that they are proud of, that they feel fulfilled in, to help them get paid to be who they really are and what they believe in. But it could also be, partnering with companies and brands like BMW or Adidas, where I develop a product like a sports hijab, and I know that it affects 1 million consumers.
Okay.
So I already know, even if I'm just helping someone positively,
so that was your vision, that was your purpose, to support women, who wear the hijab.
Exactly.
When you formed, the sports hijab.
It could be just that they wear this hijab and it makes their sport day easier, or they finally go for a run because they don't feel self-conscious, or they don't get bullied in sports class because they wear Adidas instead of a no-name brand. So it could be whatever it is, but it could also be me coaching 10 women at a time.
Okay.
And those 10 women, maybe I can impact them a little bit more in developing their career. So for me, it's not really about trying to, change everyone's life. I just want to have a positive impact on someone.
Okay.
And alhamdulillah, I've been really happy to kind of have this impact at scale and impact in very small kind of amounts where I work with people one-on-one, and both are really fulfilling. And that's one of the reasons why I work with big brands and I partner with them on developing purposeful products, because you have that impact at scale as well.
Yes, and you're having that impact globally, to diverse communities, and particularly, the Muslim women, the Muslim community worldwide. And, you were talking about the branches, so there's different ways of how somebody can form their personal brand and promote themselves. And often, we kind of struggle, don't we, newcomers. What advice would you give to those individuals that are starting anew with a service or a product, trying to build up their personal brand? What are the key branches do they need to kind of tap into to develop their personal brand? In terms of platform, which are the most important platforms for them to use? Or does it not really make a difference? Is it about just starting small and then spreading? Because you've got so many different platforms now, haven't you, to promote yourself, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook, whether it's TikTok. There's so many different mediums. So any tips in that respect? How do you start off?
So it's really difficult to tell people this is the best brand for you, because it really has to do with your personality and your goals. So what I teach in my courses is really to understand your personality and also your values and maybe limitations that you might have. I have clients that say, I want to build a personal brand, but I don't want to show my face on camera, or I don't want even, people to listen to my voice. And most of the time, and that's the reason why I got into personal branding in the first place, a lot of coaches say that's not possible. You have to show your face. People have to see who you are. You have to use your beauty in order to, attract an audience. And that's just not true. You can develop a personal brand by still adhering to the values that you've set for yourself. So understand your values. You might have restrictions, which is fine. So when you're saying, okay, I don't want to show my face, podcasting is a great platform, writing is a great platform. There's even YouTube vloggers that vlog their day and you never see their face. It's just how you think creatively about the medium that you choose.
Okay.
And the other is personality. Personality has to do with, where are you on the introvert extrovert spectrum? A lot of people don't understand that 70% of people in the world are on the spectrum between being an introvert and extrovert. So they're neither nor. They are kind of in between. And there are content platforms and branches, so to speak, where you can be on if you're more of an introverted or introverted extrovert. So, if you're a super extrovert, of course, being on TV, right? Being on Instagram Live, Facebook Live.
I'm so sorry, Sina. We're going to be running out of time very shortly as well. And I just realised that we have got so many questions, but I'll have to just narrow it down. So, just one maybe last quick answer. How do you ensure that you're going to be authentic? Does it have to be perfect for you to promote yourself? Or is it, just be ready, just believe in yourself and have faith?
So basically, authenticity comes with understanding who you are right now and who you want to be in the future. Your personal brand is always an elevated version of yourself. So we want to go from fake it till you make it, which is trying to be a different person, to imitate until you become.
Okay.
But you don't imitate another person, but the future version of yourself.
Right.
So you're always trying to understand who's the future version of yourself, and then you imitate her. And try to be more like, speak like her, dress like her, be in the right environment like she would be. And that is the sweet spot between being authentic.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sina. Unfortunately, again, we've run out of time as always. But if people want to get a hold of you quickly, how do they get a hold of you? Any key, links? I'm so sorry, Sina. I'm so sorry. We've run out of time. But please, viewers, do...
मुझो नालो आ सकीना लिहाज गोठ में रहता हूँ बरसात बहुत ज़्यादा पई घर बुढ़ी या बच्चा वठी भगा से सिर्फ बच्चा भगा से कुछ न बचो जायूं किरी पियूं कचूं हूँ पेट ढवलाए